No.
Nothing makes me happy.
No.
No one's nasally. Everybody's good.
Everyone's fine.
Everyone's good. Good.
Good.
Ooh, we're back. Thank God we're back for another episode.
Ow!
You all right?
I hit my elbow. Trying to get adjusted.
Okay. You good?
Yeah, I'm
Right
fine.
in a funny mode.
I found this humorous.
Womp womp.
Welcome back, everybody, to All Y'all Recording. We're back again for another episode. I'm Dev.
I'm Caitlin. Wait, who are we going? Where are we going?
Everybody at the same time.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Hi, guys, it's me.
Oh man.
Yeah, we blew that out.
Hi guys, it's Austin.
We can.
Who the hell's Austin?
The dude who reviews.
Oh, that guy. I like him.
Well,
Anyway,
we'll try this again.
I'm in the wrong here. I suck.
Welcome back, everybody, to All Y'all Recording. I'm Dev.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Janine.
I'm Wyatt.
and I'm Phil.
I wish I could have seen it because I had to point at the person for them to respond.
Yeah,
It's a good
I need
thing
structure. So
That was the
Don't everything in the
that was the only way that was going to work. We're gonna get good one day.
No, we're not.
No.
We're gonna stay this bad constantly.
I have no
It gives
faith
it
in
it,
us.
it gives us our charm.
That's our
Sure.
charm, but we don't know what
if
we're
that
doing.
helps you sleep at night.
You know what? It does.
Okay.
I had to look forward to something
Yep.
in life.
Get it?
All right, so it's been a little minute since our first episode. And we're back again, and I'm happy to be back. I enjoy being behind the mic, doing weird things like this.
Don't do that. I still have more BBs than that gun up there.
I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna be all right. But
If I get hit in the forehead again,
Oh, by the way, I was thinking that you should probably go ahead and do the payback now,
it's
no,
fine.
we'll take care of it later.
because I don't want to have to look forward to that in the future.
Oh,
And that makes it even better since you're going to be dreading it, so she has more power. over
She'll
you.
forget by tomorrow,
No,
or until
you
next
keep
week.
reminding her. I don't know.
but we'll catch up with the Octo crew real quick, see what everybody's been to since we last talked.
My best friend from high school had a baby, and that's really cool. He was a big old baby,
There's
and
New people in the world.
yeah, and I was at the hospital for 12 whole hours waiting for that darn baby to come out, and so yeah, it was good. That's pretty much all I've been up to.
Just get here already.
I saw a post of a very expensive piece of paper.
Yes. Oh yeah, I got my diploma in the mail, so that was good. Yeah. So
I like how everything college is just an afterthought. at
it's
this
it's just like meh. I don't know. it's over and done with. Never looking back. So yep.
All right, so I went back to work. I had works and whatnot, and that's it.
No,
I go back to work.
you recently put up your 90s Jubilee design. That was
Oh
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Posted
Jubilee.
My sticker design for Jubilee. She's got fat thighs. She's fat. And yeah, so I did that while I was not at work, but like my spare time before work. And I recorded it, so I'm gonna be posting some YouTube speed paint stuff.
Nice. That's
Ooh.
pretty cool. I love those. Those are fun.
Be on the lookout because we're going to be all over YouTube pretty soon.
Yeah.
Or
Hopefully.
we're going to try. We're going to try really, really
Get the
hard.
audio in my
No,
videos to
Lily's
work.
being this
Oh,
way.
I want to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Because I watched that.
Oh yeah, I also
Yeah.
watched that.
See, I'm using a new camera, and I'm never gonna use it again. Like, so
No, just
No,
use,
just,
use the mic with your
yeah.
camera.
yeah, because I tried that, but it ended up like not working out for some reason.
What you do?
It's worked for every other thing that I've used it for.
Do you sync them up? How do you sync them up?
I use Adobe Premiere Elements, which isn't the best, especially because it's 11. It's not 18, so
Yeah, I'm also using 11.
yeah. So it's just kind of It's
Well,
just
I
a
was
whole
gonna say
mess.
if you do a clap sync, is you start the video.
I do that. Yeah.
And because that's how I synced up mine.
Yeah, it was just kind of, it was weird as far as like the transition from it being in Audacity, which it sounded perfectly fine, and then being in Adobe Premiere Elements, it like totally, like, it was just, I even bumped it up to like 10. I forget what the actual like measurement of it is, but which I never do. I usually bring it lower because it's too loud, and then yeah, it just was like
Yeah, because when I started
Yeah.
that video, I thought I went deaf for a second. I was like, wait.
Yeah, I know. I was just like,
Snapping in my
damn.
ear.
When I saw the video, I was like, why is the music louder than her?
Yeah, so I probably will end up just taking it down and redoing it, but I didn't save it in Adobe Premiere Elements, so I'll have to re-edit it the whole thing. So
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So that's why I haven't done anything with it yet.
okay.
I started a Kickstarter. Share Your Skulls Scoops on Kickstarter. Go fund it. Go back it. They're designer toys.
It'll be in the description.
Please
Yeah,
give him money.
Please.
Yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more information.
Comment down
And,
below.
Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Because we really do want to know. I think the skulls is cool. But I think what's coming up with those skulls is also really cool. But we'll talk about it later.
I went to work. I also went and watched a movie with a friend. I didn't really care for it.
What movie?
Insidious 4.
No,
Oh, see,
I stopped after 2.
you make me sad when you say it like
I was-
that.
I was-
Insidious isn't for everybody.
I was
The
explaining.
first
some-
one was great.
Yeah.
I was spoiling the whole thing for Janine, and Janine was like, "Well, thanks, because I'm not gonna watch it." You're welcome.
It sounded like trash.
Well, it's typical history that anything released in January is trash. That's just how Hollywood works. It's like it's award season. Nobody's really going to the movies right now. Just put something out for the week.
Or it's like one of those really like only if you're like super like into whatever the subject is. Like they have the new movie The Post coming out, and if like unless you're like super into journalism and like
You like Tom Hanks?
and then you like Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, but like those are for like more like the old ladies that are like retired and they're just like let's go see The Post. It's...
See, when we make movies, like we should put all of our blockbusters out in like the winter. We'll have no competition.
There you go. Yeah.
Ooh, which I hope we get to soon. I guess now it's on me. I think the only thing that I did this week was, of course, work, sit behind a desk, and watch my life go fly away.
Depressing.
No, but it gets better. I had time to start plotting some shorts ideas for us to do.
Nice.
I have a horror. I have to say it this way now.
You have a what?
Horror. I have horror short. That
Or shorts.
I have a horror short that I'm gonna probably start writing pretty soon, and then I have a kind of sort of love story. It should not be coming from somebody like me, but something like that I'm working on that won't require any dialogue because I'm all for storytelling.
Are we gonna get down to that deep gooey center that you have there, Devin?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm excited for it.
No one gets to see it. So
We have to have some sort of jackhammer to get there, right?
I'll talk about that stuff on my channel. But I have that, and I also want to do Octo Crew profiles on everybody. So we're gonna get to work pretty soon.
Are they going to be a video game style?
No,
Oh, that'd be
around.
awesome.
They're gonna be like
We could do that.
I was gonna say they're gonna be like Guardians of the Galaxy whenever they're all being interrogated or being put in the
Hey,
arrested.
we don't have the budget for that. I don't.
We
Though I
also-
would be the one to do this.
Sorry.
I did the quill finger
Yeah.
rotating. For the,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know how this worked.
I'm sorry. I
I
didn't
didn't,
know this thing worked.
I didn't know how this machine operated.
But yeah, we're gonna get to filming pretty soon. I just gotta start writing, and then we'll get. I'm gonna actually pass it on to Kayla and see if she likes it first, and if she approves, then we'll start.
Get my stamp of approval.
We have to give the writer in the group something to do. But speaking on movies, this year is a big year for comic book movies. We got a lot coming out this year.
Too many.
Too many.
Too many.
Too many for sure. But I'm gonna go see all of them. And the big thing that I wanted to talk about this time was Marvel movies, the MCU versus the DC EU. What the hell is DC doing wrong?
Everything.
Suicide Squad. So.
So wait, you're saying that they just gotta get rid of Suicide Squad entirely?
Oh no, that's the only one
And
that I've
then
seen
it would
other
make
than Wonder
me-
Woman.
oh,
So
okay.
that's
I
also
was
why I was
gonna
like, oh, Suicide Squad, never gonna watch a DC movie again.
And
know what?
I don't think that's fair.
And I own that movie digitally.
Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, I didn't bother to buy it on DVD. I just own it digitally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell about the ones that I really care about because they're all in my drawer. I have
Yeah.
physical copies of them
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to lose them.
We won't talk about each and every movie specifically because there's like 20 Marvel movies and 4 DC movies, but we've all seen enough.
I've definitely seen enough.
Sorry, I had to burp. We've all seen enough to understand where each studio's going with their work. So I guess we can start off with Marvel and everything that they're doing right. Because I feel like because of Iron Man and everything that's come after, they've established the formula of what a big universe movie can do. And I think that's where DC really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you
Either
go
way.
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the two greatest things that Marvel ever did were Chris Pratt and Benedict Cumberbatch. So
And they don't come until later down the line.
I know.
Alright.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I'm not a fan
And Hugh
of
Jackman
either
at
of
the
those
beginning.
guys.
So
Like Benedict Cumberbatch, I just don't really see the appeal in Chris Pratt.
Watch
I
Sherlock.
No,
Yeah,
like,
Sherlock
like,
is the
'cause,
reason.
Like, women are like, oh my gosh, he's so sexy. I'm like,
He's not sexy, he's
we're
just,
looking
like,
at the
great.
same person.
he's just a fun
I
guy.
felt like the dude who plays Hawkeye would be like the sexy one.
Hawkeye.
No.
Jeremy Renner?
He's the derpy one.
Like he's not the coolest superhero, but
No.
I don't know. I find him
Especially
more
like next to like
attractive
Thor and
You find
Robert
him
Downey
attractive?
Jr.
That's,
I mean-
that's your type.
He's like the one that gets picked last on the kickball team. Like it's like why would you?
Say what you want, but after Avengers, I was rooting for more Hawkeye, more Black Widow, because they're the ones without powers in the streets trying to help save the world with these guys who are way bigger than them.
It'd be cool if they had like an espionage movie of just the two of them.
Do
like,
you want like a Budapest?
Yeah,
I would like to know what
Spin-off.
happened in Budapest.
I wouldn't watch it, but they should have it. So
Oh, for those who don't remember, Budapest was a joke that came up a lot in Avengers, some mission that they had together, but, apparently they remember it very differently. So I like to get both perspectives on that.
2 movies or
No, at the same
you know,
movie.
like how like there's like have you ever seen like an episode of something where like two characters are relaying and like they switch back and forth between scenes of like what happened and it's always like completely different. Supernatural did it for one episode. It's pretty great.
I haven't seen Supernatural in like 10 years.
Well, it was like the episode happened like 10 years ago, like when it was still good. So
Like I know they're movie actors, but I would love to see a TV show of them. Like they did for Star Wars, right? So like Obi-Wan and Anakin through all the movies, like they're talking about these missions.
yeah.
Like, what the heck planet is this? I've never heard of it. What? They did what on what planet? But then,
Yeah.
like, they came out with the Clone Wars series, and,
Yeah.
like, finally we get to see, like, what they're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, now that scene in the elevator finally makes sense.
Yeah, they the Star Wars prequels did a lot of telling rather than showing, which they would have done a lot better if they just had like little clips of like, oh, here's something that happened, instead of just being like, oh, we're in an elevator now. Let's go over to the
But I feel like
council
that,
members.
then it turns into like a Family Guy episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, do you remember that one thing? And it like just cuts to like what happened over there.
Yeah.
And then cuts back. And says, oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and it kills any type of seriousness they were trying to have in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was well. Anyway, that's a different episode for us to talk about.
But I think Marvel has done really well in establishing their universe. Bless you. I think that was a sneeze.
Yeah, it was a sneeze.
I
I
don't know.
was trying to hold it back.
I was like, I don't know if he was choking or.
You're gagging or
He
something.
was dying.
He's drowning on
He does it
ice.
sometimes.
Oh, man.
But I like the way that some of these stories are told, like with some characters, like say I don't know how many of y'all have seen Ant-Man, but it wasn't an end of the universe kind of thing, and it's like not every one of our heroes have to save the world that day, and that's why I enjoy their universe so much now. Oh, DC.
Okay, so
DC kind of rushed.
yeah, that's their problem, is that they're trying to play catch up with Marvel.
Mhm.
Marvel has been doing it for a very long time, so they've like established this universe, and DC's falling behind. They're trying to do it as quickly as possible, and that's why their movies are coming out the way they are,
Yeah.
not being as great because we don't care about these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I would typically say, I mean, I guess this is kind of generally true that all movies are works of art, but you can't rush art, and that's why it just ends up stupid. So it's just...
I feel like I'm going to be the only one to come to DC's defense just a little bit. And while the universe kind of sucks, what they're doing with some of their characters seems to work really well. Man of Steel worked in my mind. There were issues that were had. I was like, God, this guy's depressing. And for a character like Superman, who's supposed to be the ultimate being of hope, he wasn't very hopeful.
No, but I kind of like that, like the new DC universe, how dark it is, you know, like because we have Marvel, and so like in the comics, like DC has always been like wild and kooky and like, you know, they have monsters as villains, you know. Well, Marvel has always been more grounded. It's always been about, you know, the struggle of
Being a hero.
yeah, being a hero and being a human being, you know? And even like their villains are other people, you know? They're not some of, you know, there's creatures from space and stuff, but you know, you don't have the, you know, giant doomsdays and, you know, stuff like that.
Until
you don't have, well, Thanos is more like Darkseid.
Yeah, he's more of like the cause behind
Yeah.
things rather than the
But
actual.
you know, you don't have your doomsdays or, you know, your Solomon Grundys or, you know, just giant creatures, you know.
I think what it's been is, the comparison has always been with
Yeah.
DC, these people are gods.
Yeah, yeah.
They're comparable to gods. Whereas with Marvel, even in the comics, the stories have always been very human stories. Like you read a Spider-Man book, most of it's about Peter can't please Mary Jane. Peter can't help, you know, Aunt May. And that's what makes those characters relatable and more interesting.
Yeah,
But
even
we've seen a switch. Like it's a full switch now because Marvel is all kooky and crazy, and you know, you can kind of relate to some of the characters, but really they're just, you know, they're characters now, you know? While DC has taken an approach where everyone seems a little bit more human now, you know? Even Superman, there's a whole bunch of weight on him to be Superman, even though, you know, he has pretty much limitless power, you know? Like the scene where, you know, he walks into the court, you know, that was a really human thing to do for him to...
That's in Batman vs. Superman, by the way.
Yeah. He walks into the court and, you know, he doesn't just X-ray vision everybody to see, you know, if there's a bomb. You know, and everyone's like, oh, why didn't he just, you know, use his super speed to, you know, run the guy out before he explodes? And it's like...
He didn't know. He was legitimately there to
go to court.
you
know?
speak his truth like a normal person.
Yeah, and, you know, he wasn't able to save everybody, and that was like a superhuman thing, and I really like that change, you know.
And I think we see that change come opposite, like you said, with Marvel, especially in Thor Ragnarok. It was a very enjoyable movie, but for the other movies with Thor and the Hulk, we see them as these characters that are really trying to figure themselves out or trying to overcome. You know, even Thor is technically a god. He has very human qualities. He messes up. He's still growing, and of course the Hulk is too. You know, you see a little bit of his relationship with Black Widow and things like that. But in this movie, they're just goofy. They like threw basically everything that they had been working towards with these characters and just made them into tropes and into these. I mean, albeit really enjoyable characters if you kind of step away from the Marvel universe as a whole. But I was really disappointed in the fact that they basically discounted everything that they've been through for a funny movie.
I think I really like Ragnarok, but
I mean, I did too. Like, that was just kind of a different perspective of it.
and I think that stuff is there, but I think they cut it for the sake of this movie because they know for Thor to have his own standalone, the dude needed a tonal change because Thor 1 and Thor 2, even though he has his own character growth in those movies, well, at least in the first Thor, he wasn't going anywhere. And as far as the Marvel films go, his are always in the lower tier of movies that are liked, even though they enjoy the character. They like him when he's with the group, but when he's on his own, people don't particularly care for him. But Thor Ragnarok comes around, and that changes everything for the character entirely. Now, as far as where we go with that character in Infinity War, I think we'll get back to that because things, like I've said in the past one, things are going to get serious. People are going to die. We're not going to have as much fun in this movie as people think we are.
See, that's the thing that I struggle with superhero movies is the fact that the writers just kind of get away with the fact that they can go, oh, it's a different movie, so we can completely change the character. We can make him serious in this one because it's a serious movie. We can make him silly in this one because it's a silly movie. And then they also do a lot of breaking tension, like in Doctor Strange when he was crying because his master just died and the little cape like wiped away a tear and he's like, oh, get away. And it like completely just killed that kind of grief and feeling that he had. So Marvel likes to just kind of knock them out of whatever seriousness they had and bring a funniness to them.
True. They do that a lot, especially recently with their movies, because I think they realize they've established a formula, and they realize that no matter what story we're trying to tell, we have to keep to it because this is what we do. This is what people like about what we do, and they have to understand that in order for this universe to continue to thrive, they need to change.
Yeah, they need to cut the cookie cutters away.
Otherwise, you're giving us the same old stuff. We're still gonna go see it because
I'm not.
well, there's one who won't. But for the masses and the folks who while they enjoy the universe, they don't understand it like say me and Wyatt do or me and Phil do. Because I know Janine's just like, hey, I just like watching movies from time to time.
Yeah, movies are okay.
Janine's like, no, that's lame.
But they have to change up their formula in order to continue to thrive. Otherwise, DC, with what they're doing in their universe, which we'll get to, may come and sweep them up and change the thing entirely.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
And see, one thing I did like, and it might have happened in other movies that I haven't seen, but in DC and Wonder Woman, you know, we always have the kind of, like in Ragnarok when Loki goes and he sacrifices, quote unquote, himself for the people. And they're like, oh no, Loki's dead. Oh wait, he's really not dead, kind of thing. And, but for Wonder Woman, there were stakes because her boyfriend Chris Pine does die. Spoilers if you haven't seen it already, but you know, so they did find a way to make those stakes real, which don't happen anymore in superheroes. There aren't any stakes anymore because they're so great. We know that there's going to be another movie. The Avengers have to stay together and things like that. So
I don't know. I didn't really see that as a stake. I was like, it's World War II. He's obviously World War One.
Yeah, it's
He's
even farther back.
Not going to make it to Batman versus Superman, so I'm okay with him dying.
yeah, I mean that's really yeah. I mean it wasn't saying that it was like oh he shouldn't have died, but it was more of the fact that they couldn't make it a stake for Wonder Woman dying. They had to make it for the person that she loved. She had to lose something. So
to become who she was, because
exactly.
God, you guys need to see it. But in the beginning of the film, Diana's very naive about the world, even though she knows so much. Everything is brand spanking new. Like when they arrived in London, there's a scene where they're in the streets of London just walking around. It's like everything is so gray and ugly because she's coming from Themyscira where it's bright, it's colorful, and she's adjusting to that. And then she sees a baby and she does the most natural, motherly thing I've ever seen. She's like, oh, baby. And she wanted to pick up the baby, and it's like, you can't do that.
I love that line in there because the line splits between that and her just right before she sees the baby talking about why women can't fight. So she goes from this really strong woman of like women should be able to fight in this war to oh there's a baby, and it was a great like moment for like women and feminists just going like see these two things can interact. A woman can be strong and want to fight and also be like oh my god baby I'm gonna squeeze his cheeks kind of thing. So yeah, that was another reason why I really liked Wonder Woman. So
You okay over there?
You look like you want to say something.
No, I'm fine. Everything's it's okay.
Oh, okay.
I think Philip's a little hungover.
Maybe.
No, you.
But as far
Yeah,
as
that actually might be the case.
things have recently changed up in the DCU where they finally have somebody they have their Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige kind of runs all of Marvel Studios, so he kind of keeps things in line. Now DC has their guy, I forgot his name, his last name is Hamada, but he's produced on stuff like the Insidious movies. And
Oh man. I wonder why Marvel's doing better.
But but they have somebody because DC didn't have a leader. That's why none of their stuff seemed to gel in the same universe, or why they're saying this is the same universe. It's not. Things are happening, and then you get stuff like Suicide Squad, where I feel that movie could have benefited from them having a lower stakes villain, because you've got this group of misfits going up against a god. The stakes seem too high and unrealistic, and that's why a lot of folks weren't into it. And it's very much it's a Harley Deadshot story. Everybody else is cannon fodder for them.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if they had a movie with Deadshot by himself or Harley by herself, I think that would have been great. I love those two characters. I love their interactions with each other. You know, even if they had a movie together, which it only really makes sense if they're in Suicide Squad for them to be together. But yeah, those are the only two characters I enjoyed. Like the boomerang guy, I don't know what he is.
Yeah, like a full film dedicated to just Deadshot would have been great.
Yeah. And also too, like Will Smith gave up going back to Independence Day, the new one, for that movie, and I was like, come on, Will Smith, what are you doing?
I'm glad he did, because Resurgence was not that good.
I mean,
Would have been better with Will Smith. Oh man.
Caitlin and I went and saw it in theaters.
Was Jeff Goldblum in it? 'Cause
Yes.
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah, he was one of the main characters.
But he didn't.
I like me some Jeff Goldblum.
Me too.
But DC has this thing to where they say they want to try to establish some type of universe, but they've kind of gone back on that. They don't want to do that anymore. It's like, we'll just do standalone films, and when we want to team people up, we'll team people up. I don't know if that'll work, because there's movies coming down the pipeline. Like, of course, we got Aquaman later this year, Wonder Woman 2. There's Flashpoint, which I'm like...
Wait, there's going to be an actual Flashpoint movie?
Oh, yes. Okay, to explain Flashpoint. Flashpoint is... Barry gets sad because he doesn't have his mom. He goes back in time, saves his mom, and completely destroys the DC
And then he just
universe.
fucked shit up.
That's what
constantly.
Is that where
created...
he comes back as gay?
No, he's not gay. It's just
But
that in
it was-
the
it
universe
was-
where his mom exists or alive,
And it changes everybody's lives.
he's
in the
not
DC
married.
universe.
and
he's gay.
He's single, and his mom was like, "I just assume you're gay the entire time."
But that storyline is what established the New 52.
Why we got the reboot?
Yeah, why
So-
we got the big DC reboot.
So is that how they're gonna explain away their extended or their EU?
Yeah, I
That would
think
be
so.
smart.
So
That would be smart.
everything is a continuous universe right now, but after Flashpoint, then it's just random movies.
It would have been a lot smarter if they
Then
had
chaos.
Y'all joke, but
The-
let me tell you some of the movies that are coming.
the Justice League movie, Flashpoint, and then every other movie after that, because then it's like the reboot would have been like that would set you up for all these movies that you want to make.
Here's
Like
the
Star
problem.
Trek.
Here's the
We went back
problem.
in time.
Here's
Star Trek
Oh.
versus Superman?
Here's the problem with Flashpoint happening. If Flashpoint happens, then that means we need to recast. And for
Yes.
those of us who saw Justice League, the characters work really well together. Ray Fisher, the guy who plays Cyborg, a lot of folks weren't expecting to like Cyborg, and Cyborg actually came out really good in this movie.
Really?
Yes. And I got a booyah, so I was very
Yeah,
happy
he says
about
booyah.
that.
was it the Teen Titans Booyah?
It was just kind of an off-point booyah. It was like at the end of the movie, we did everything good, and he looked around the sky and was like, booyah.
It wasn't as lackluster as that, as Devin. He's kind of like, booyah. It wasn't like that. He was like, there was emotion behind it.
Yeah, there were
Some emotion.
He was happy that he helped save the world. And say what y'all want about Ezra Miller's Flash, the guy is fun, and for a character that's in the beginning stages of his hero career, I understand the steps that they took. But when we get to his, Phil doesn't like that at all.
I don't like him.
But
You don't like him?
I don't like the character.
when we get to his own single film, let him become a bit more experienced where he's not tripping over his feet or running all retarded, like, you know.
He's skating. He's not running, he's ice skating.
Oh man, a whole movie
He's
just
running
about the
faster than
Flash
friction?
sounds
Huh?
horrible.
He's running faster than friction.
No, like when I say he's ice skating, you know,
You know, like competitive speed skating.
yeah, like,
Like
where they're
they're
like they're
swinging the arms
throwing their arms
hard.
out.
That's how he
Well, like
runs.
Oh, yeah.
that competitive walking thing.
But
Could the Flash win that?
But the character has great moments in Justice League that makes him likable. Like when he gets to Bruce's Batcave and he does what any of us would do if we ended up in a Batcave. He ran all over the damn place, sat in a Batmobile, looked all horrible, like, and they're calling for him because it's time to get serious, but he can't help it because he's a kid in a candy store.
So is he DC's Spider-Man?
Pretty much.
That's
Not power based.
that's
but...
the reason why I didn't like this version of the character, because he is the comedic relief of the movie. Like, he's there to break the tension of everything.
He's
where-
a dorky kid. That
yeah.
just says things.
And in the comics or in everything else, he's a legitimate member of the team, where it's like he's literally the fastest person here, and he is a great detective, or not detective, forensic scientist. So
So he was Captain Marvel.
Which we are getting.
Yeah.
I told y'all that. We're getting a Captain Marvel, that's one. We're getting a Green Lantern Corps. and Phil's found out agitated about that too because Green Lantern is his favorite.
Ryan Reynolds' version, right?
no,
But we're also
chokeslam him through a desk.
but we're also getting weird offshoot stuff like Gotham City Sirens, and we're supposed to get like 3 Harley films because apparently Margot Robbie's that damn popular.
You know what? I am not excited for a Sirens movie. It's just I just see TNA and that's it. That's all I see for that.
We're also getting Batgirl, and that's directed by Joss Whedon, and I trust Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
But we have no Robin in this universe.
I
but
want to
we have a
trust
Robin, we
Joss
just don't know.
Whedon.
You want to?
I want to trust him so hard, but I don't know if I can.
The man gave us Firefly, Buffy, Avengers.
This is DC is a mess though.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I'm talking about because their universe is so. Everything's all over the place. There's no structure, and this is the one time where they need structure.
What I would do, because they started off super strong, and like, you know, I get why people don't like, you know, where Batman versus Superman is placed, but I really do like it. You know, I would have liked, you know, Superman coming first, then Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman, then
That way you establish a trinity.
yeah, then I would put Aquaman. I would have the I feel like the Cyborg movie would be the weakest of them all, you know. So I'd probably after Aquaman, I figured that would be pretty good, and you know, for the ladies. You know?
Oh yeah.
And so I'd put Cyborg after that, so the hype from Aquaman, you know, it just kind of brushes over Cyborg and whatever, and then I would put Flash at the end. I would have a Justice League movie, and then I would put the Batman movie.
You do realize what you just did. You just did what Marvel always does. They establish their characters
Yeah.
and then build up on a team
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
But
I
would
think
put-
that
I would
definitely,
put
yeah.
Batman after the Justice League movie.
Because he's a big money draw and people are going to
Yeah,
go see it.
but we don't know anything about him, and that's what I love. Is we have little hints about him. I would have him traveling around, collecting all these, you know, all these heroes, putting them on a team. We still know absolutely nothing about him. You know, put little hints and stuff about the, you know, about
These
him.
are Nick Fury.
Yeah, and then give him
Bat
his
Fury.
own movie, you know, to explain everything we've seen about him over these past few movies.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a really good idea. And also, too, like, I think if we had already established more of the characters, I would have been much more interested in going to see the Justice League movie. I put that off until yesterday. So, so it was just kind of like, I was like, I don't care about any of them. I didn't see the Batman, Superman, or Superman because I hate Superman. Don't get me started on that. But
That's
So
a talk for another
Is
day.
it
Yeah.
Superman as a character or just this
no,
Superman?
Superman is a character.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I don't like the idea of him. It's just
Don't
silly.
let our brother hear you say that.
Yeah. But so anyways,
Oh, I can't wait to have this talk.
Mm-hmm. I have a whole arsenal ready. So
It's like bam, quick draw.
It's okay. I don't like Batman.
okay, there we go. You can swap
Why
off.
don't you like Batman?
If I didn't
I
have,
told you.
if I
why
didn't
don't
have this
like
mic in my hand,
Do
I do
I need
like Batman though.
do
just
I need to
because
get the
he's
thing,
so
Devin?
mysterious, but not Ben Affleck because screw that guy.
do I need to
No,
get the thing?
No.
I've explained to you guys why I don't like Batman. Like you know my cutting point and what made me stop liking Batman.
Kristen Bell, right? Okay.
Kristen Bell.
It was actually
Christian.
one of the
Christian Bale,
animated
sorry.
movies.
Wait, what?
It was one of the animated movies that made me just.
If you say
yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm, I will.
No,
slap you
it's
right
the one where he spits kryptonite gum into Superman's face.
Oh,
Oh.
that sounds pretty clever.
Okay.
Well, no, because
Batman got plus
no,
5.
Series is just complete BS.
Oh, okay.
Right?
well, I mean, like not only that, but like kryptonite is the whole thing that gave Lex cancer, Lex Luthor,
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah.
and then he's chewing it as gum.
yeah.
Because he's Batman, so he probably made some sort of like antidote or something.
He's got a lead esophagus.
Yeah. Like Fox went to work, made him like some weird
'Cause
lead.
It wasn't just
throat.
him. It's like no matter what comic or movie or whatever, like he comes out on top out of.
Because he's always prepared.
But that's the thing with
Crazy
with
things.
DC here. Like Superman is the same way.
He's been
Yeah.
punched through a wall and he's fine. And how has nobody shot him in the face yet? How has absolutely.
Well, that's the
nobody-
thing. Yeah, that's the thing about that I don't like about Superman is the biggest thing is the kind of the god modding of it. Just like I'm Superman, fuck you, just kind of that's all he has to do. But yet he still struggles so hard to like beat people. I'm like, dude, what the heck? Like,
Okay.
Well, he doesn't want to kill them.
well, but he still does
I
something.
I have to defend Batman right now. The stories
He's
that
in his Batman shirt.
say what you want, but the way that Batman works well, the good stories have him running around being a detective in the shadows, not facing up guys.
That's what I like about Batman. It's when he's in
Doing
the
it.
shadows, when he's in Gotham, it all makes sense. Even if he's fighting Solomon Grundy,
Yeah.
like, all right, he got hit pretty hard, but he could get back up. He has enough money that he can.
He's
get
all
back
right.
up.
But-
Shake it
He
off.
has
But-
enough money that
But
he
when
can
he's
get back
dealing
up.
with the rest of the DC universe, it's an issue.
Yeah. Whenever he's fighting anybody super powerful, or
He has to outsmart them.
Yeah, but like, I think a lot of writers don't do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is a normal human. He has some padding and some robotics inside of the suit.
But he's a human at the peak of human condition. That's
Yeah.
the thing. He's trained himself to be that.
But even at the peak of human condition, I mean, there's only so much any human
Like
can-
fleshy mass going through a wall.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
Like I was watching some YouTube video and they were talking about the Red Hood movie.
Yeah.
Where he's fighting Robin inside of the bathroom, and so he like kicks Robin through, or he kicks Red Hood rather through a bathtub. Right, this is an old building, so everything's built super sturdy. Kicks him into a bathtub. The bathtub breaks. Right, picks him up, punches him. He hits his jaw on a sink.
Which breaks the sink.
And then he slams him up against the wall and punches him through the wall. Like I said, this is an old building, so he's going
Like
through
cinder blocks.
he's going through like plaster, multiple planks of wood, and then pipes.
Yeah.
Can't forget the piping.
I'm gonna shut this down right now. Because comics.
Suspension.
But like even when he's fighting Darkseid, like Darkseid can control his laser eyes and they have to make up some crap. Batman avoiding those.
It's like those really bad like fantasy or sci-fi or basically fantasy, but kind of that like because magic, just kind of thing. Like, oh well, they have magic, so they can do this. It's fine. So
I would prefer him more if he were like Spider-Man, where Spider-Man almost after every single fight, like Spider-Man doesn't make enough money to replace his suit, right? But almost after every single fight, he's has battle damage, He's bleeding, his suit's all scratched up and torn,
and he's got to go home and knit that right.
Yeah, he's got to go home and knit that, and then like, how has anyone not found out who he is yet?
Right.
His mask is always torn.
it's like the train scene, and I guess it was the second one where like only like this much, like barely half his face.
No,
No, in that
train
scene,
that full mask
yeah,
is
the
gone.
entire mask is
yeah.
came off.
You won't tell anybody, Spider-Man.
Damn right you won't,
There's a
child.
whole scene where it's
You know what's good for you.
he's just a kid.
Like behind
No
the
older than my
scenes,
son.
we've never seen it, but Spider-Man just has to assassinate all those people. That's what I know.
We won't tell anybody, Spider-Man.
I know you're
Right.
Choked on webbing.
The scene we didn't see, he got off the train, then pushed it off.
So, well, I gotta kill all of them.
Yeah, never mind. Oh,
I
man.
saved you just to kill you.
Yeah. There's this interesting, speaking of Batman, this interesting anime coming out called Batman Samurai. And
I don't know how I feel.
it looks super creepy, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, I'm into that. So, but just because the Joker just looks just maniac.
Yeah.
So,
When is he not?
I mean, but even more so. He's not like, Mark Hamill, just kind of like, so, but yeah. So there's that.
So I think my biggest complaint with the DC universe is I don't like the way the characters look. Like none of the actors look like the superheroes should look.
Which doesn't feel right to me. Because Henry Cavill looks like Superman.
No, he's
I'm
not
the
big
only
enough.
one.
He's not big
He's
enough.
not big enough.
Have you seen that guy out of the suit?
No.
He fills that suit. That's not padding. He fills that
Like,
suit.
I think you're looking for an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No,
Yes, she's looking for a prime Arnold.
It's the chin. Like he has to have like
that's
the
what it
big.
is. It's the chin.
Yeah.
He doesn't have.
He has a very
Superman's
small face.
What?
Yeah.
He has exactly Superman's
No.
face.
It's like
Are you talking about the animated series?
right now.
Like, are you talking? Are you mad because his head isn't literally a rectangle?
And I don't, and you know what? I blame that. I blame what she thinks Superman should look like on 90s comics because characters were big.
Yeah, they had the big.
Chiseled jaw.
It's not
Yeah.
just Superman. It's Wonder Woman and the Flash. And
Wonder
I mean, the
Woman
Flash
was
is a kid.
scrawny. That was the biggest
Yeah.
thing I had. She was like, I'm so strong. Look at my
Yeah.
little noodle
I'm
arms.
supposed to be an Amazon, but like not.
Yeah.
What made me mad, right? So Wonder Woman made me mad at first when I was like, really, Gal? They chose Gal for this role, But then the movie starts, and there are huge women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why did she
Huge
look
women
at
on
this?
the
Like her
island.
aunt was just like, just
Oh.
like, yes, that's what I
Matter of
want.
fact,
So I pulled up an image.
look at this.
He is not Superman.
Look at that.
He does have
angle.
the butt chin though.
Yeah, I mean, he has
a
that.
butt chin.
You were just complaining that he doesn't have the facial
He has
features.
an angular jaw.
He has the butt chin, but everything else is not Superman.
But it's a very thin chin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He even has the hair swoop.
He just looks
He
goofy
even has a
to me.
little thing for the hair. What are you talking about?
That's
when
Superman.
when you talk about the look, Henry Cavill for this generation is Superman.
Well, all right. What about Christopher Reeves?
Yeah, he looked like Superman.
He's smaller. Christopher Reeves is smaller than this guy.
Much smaller. But I think because Christopher Reeve's Superman has such a place in everybody's heart that the man can do no wrong.
But his head also, like his forehead, was
Yeah.
pretty much the same width as his jaw. Like I think that's the thing. His face kind of goes like meep,
Okay. So, and now we ventured on to Wonder Woman because
Okay, yeah.
here's my thing. I didn't particularly care for the fact that Gal was so small.
She's very small.
There's an
She's
ideal.
gorgeous.
Yeah, she's pretty, but she's small. There's an ideal version of Wonder Woman in my head, and you two know which artist I'm talking about who did it. he goes by Nebazol on DA, but he did this. When you think of an Amazon, you think of a big woman, and there's a scene in Justice League where stuff happens. I'm not going to tell y'all what because y'all eventually need to see it.
They're not going to.
Yeah, we'll see it eventually.
But the Amazons they're fighting off parademons. That's not really a spoiler. It's going to happen anyway. You see it in the trailer. But there's a point where there's these two Amazons who need to hold up this door that's coming down for somebody to get out. And it goes 1, 2, boom, lands on their shoulders, and you see abs, and these women were bigger than me, and it's like,
I should not have bigger guns than Wonder Woman. like that shit.
But it worked, and it's like, if I wanted to see Wonder Woman, that's the way I would want to see it. Gal is small, but she has so much heart with this character. That's why Wonder Woman works. And in the case of Justice League, when the newbies like Cyborg or Flash feel down on themselves, she's the one to give them hope. She is hope for that team. She is the heart of that team. And that's why I think that works. Now, Batfleck. I was not down until the first time I saw him in the suit. I was like, Ben Affleck? Really? It was because I'm still thinking Daredevil from way, way back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm down for that. And then I saw him in there was a shot before BVS where it's just black and white and it's him in the suit. And it's this like very primal, animalistic look. And I'm like, I'm down.
With the derpy bat?
With the fat bat, yeah. But I because that just goes back to Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
So I've been down since that point. If he wants to step out away from the character because of Hollywood, I'm fine. But I was fine with Ben Affleck after I saw that first shot.
Like, we haven't got that Batman movie that I want. And
you want a detective story.
He's a detective, so...
The main thing, I want to know what happened to Robin.
Everybody
He died.
There are two things I want to see. What happened to Robin and the giant penny. Those are my only two. Those are my only two requirements for the Batman movie.
I can understand the Robin part. The giant penny would be a bit harder to explain.
It doesn't need to be explained. It just needs to be.
You just want to see.
Yeah, it just needs to be in the Batcave.
He needs a bigger cave. But
Also, look what I got. It's a giant penny. Now back to the story.
I also want an explanation for the Robin. Which Robin it was, because we all think it's
Jason.
Excuse me. Jason Todd.
Pretty sure it's Jason. Or Damien.
Nah, I doubt it's Damien though. Damien would come like right now in his timeline because Batman's in his early 40s.
He old.
Yeah, and but Ben Affleck is on the way out the door anyway. I think he's got one more movie on his contract, and he may just go out. But the rest of the characters, of course, the girls in this group, they're feeling Momoa as Aquaman.
Because, he I mean, he doesn't look like Aquaman, but I'm okay with it.
No, yeah. He improved Aquaman greatly.
Everyone else is suit accurate.
Yeah.
And then the one dude who's not suit accurate.
He don't need a suit.
He's fine. He looks fine.
Yeah.
I think that's because, well, obviously for the girls, it's just, abs and body galore, which I respect.
Yes, and hair, yes. The
It's not
facial
better
hair,
than mine.
the eyes, just everything.
But, I get it. But,
Damn right you do.
no, I'll tell you right now, if I was gay, one person I go, Ryan Reynolds. That man has abs for days. That man has abs for days, and he's funny. So, yes, if I were gay, I'd be gay for Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Who would you be gay for, Phil?
Probably one of my former coworkers.
He already has someone in real life.
I'm not gay.
If I had to choose,
That is a
if I had to choose,
beautiful
I
man.
mean, he was very attractive. He looked like a Ken doll.
he looked like, no.
Yeah.
He was way too pretty to be working with.
Phil still thinks about him sometimes.
Yeah. I think about him when I sleep.
Yeah, or not.
I guess we're gonna start this.
Whenever I'm in bed, let's just put it that way.
I guess we're gonna start this conversation. Why?
Who's your
Who we go?
crush?
Wait, do we have to choose like
No,
a
Celebrity.
celebrity? Because
No,
if
you
it's
don't
celebrity, I'll give a legitimate answer.
you have an answer for that?
No, I had to think of something.
Oh.
Someone.
I already said it's Ryan Reynolds for me.
Ryan Reynolds would be up there. Who else? Oh, Idris Elba.
Yes.
Yeah,
You go gay for Gil yourself.
I'd go gay for Idris.
So would I. That's my. That would actually be my answer.
With Idris and John Boyega. Like if
That's a lot of
like
time.
I'm straight, and if you got both of them in a room to have a conversation, like
He'd start stripping.
I guess this is happening.
I never wanted this to happen in real life.
Oh man.
Janine.
If I were gay,
Yes.
who would I go gay for? I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many people I would be gay for. I honestly don't. Who's my celebrity crush? I don't have. any crush. Oh, I have a lot of like, kind of, sort of, but not really. They're all ugly.
Jeff Goldblum.
No, that's she's
Snoop
That's
Dogg.
straight.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
straight crushes.
Yeah.
Oh, gay ones. I don't know.
Who are my lady crushes?
Nicki
Oh
Minaj.
yeah, Nicki Minaj. I like her. I mean, she's all plastic, but like I don't give a shit.
Oh, just the chick who plays Jessica Jones.
really.
No. I like Jessica Jones. I'm not attracted to her, but I like.
You like the character of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I like Jessica Jones. I don't know.
It's like she could snap that twig.
Caitlin?
Zoe Saldana.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's hot. Plus, love me some Aurora, so I'm.
Good answer.
It's a pretty good answer. I can respect that. Man, that conversation deviated quick.
Wait, did we find out
Oh,
what
DC
who-
versus Marvel. That's what.
Oh, right,
yeah.
there's a topic here.
Not just who we go gay for.
This is the kind of stuff you should expect if you listen to us.
quality
Yeah.
content?
But getting back on topic, I really do believe what Wyatt was saying is in order to establish a decent universe, you have to give these characters their individual stories and then build up to that team movie. But then it also brings on the question, are we just spoiled by what Marvel's done? And that's why we think it has to be done that way?
It doesn't have to be done that way, but it'd be really difficult to do it any other way, you know?
Like what they're doing?
Yeah. Like, you know, for any unless they went purely into Justice League and then did Justice League movies from then on, you know? If we got like a Justice League 1, 2, 3 and then kind of split off into individual films, that might be able to work, you know?
Can I ask what the question was again? I was thinking about Zoe Saldana.
I kind of zoned out also, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I was thinking about who I would go gay for, so I wasn't paying attention to what we were doing here. They both look up. What? Where am I? Who are
I
you?
am so sorry.
The question was, are we a little spoiled by the Marvel formula of
Yes.
individual
Okay.
movies and then a team movie?
That's okay. That's what I was thinking that you're saying. I think, I don't know. Honestly, like my favorite movie out of both Marvel and DC universes was Logan, just because it was so unique. You didn't know what the hell was going on or what was going to happen.
That's a Fox thing. That's something completely out there.
That's a separate universe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't know that.
well, it was. Disney did buy out Fox.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
bought
it
Fox.
was a-
They have access
Yeah.
to all of that now. So, all of Marvel, pretty much,
Except Spider-Man.
except for Spider-Man,
Yeah. So.
it will be under the Marvel banner.
Deadpool
Okay.
might be certain things. Deadpool might be MCU because because it didn't feature any of the other X-Men,
Yeah.
only X-Men we haven't seen in the movies, it might be.
No, we've seen Colossus.
Yeah, I
in
was gonna
there.
say Colossus has been in there, but he's always been like a minor character, just kind of popping up.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but he's also not the giant Russian that we know.
Yeah, that's true.
But
He's
it-
just some
But he never really
but
talked.
it works
He's just
so much
some
better
guy.
than
Yeah.
that can turn himself into metal.
that bad CG metal.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that we've been spoiled by Marvel. I think if the Marvel universe didn't exist, or the cinematic universe didn't exist, and all we had to go off of was the DC universe, we'd still be unhappy with it because it is rushed. That's their main problem, is that they've rushed through everything trying to play catch up. So it's just, it feels disjointed. It doesn't really. We have no investment in these characters outside of comics and cartoons.
At the same time, I think, you know, of course, with being spoiled, you also, that's a really kind of, can turn into a negative thing. And I think for me, by the time DC started making these movies in a solid universe, I was done with superhero movies. There had been so many Marvel movies and things like that. I wasn't, I mean, of course, they had the 3 Batman movies with Christian Bale, but I was done with superheroes by that point.
The market's become oversaturated.
Exactly. And so it was just kind of like, one, I couldn't keep up, and 2, it was just like, yeah, okay, so these superheroes are going to go in, they're going to do the same thing. A lot of them are very similar to the Marvel characters because there's always that competition as the comics are being made. So yeah, I think as far as being spoiled in that way, yeah, I definitely was as far as superheroes went.
And I think that's something that, you know, it's bound to happen. You know, if we're making a cinematic universe, there are going to be people who are going to be overwhelmed and you know, sick of it. Like, you know, even my parents can't get into the Netflix shows because, you know, you have to watch, what is it? Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage,
Iron Fist.
Then
Defenders.
There's so many.
You can skip Iron Fist, but you kind of need to know who Danny Rand is.
And,
Not really.
and then Punisher.
Yeah.
You know, and so like that's a whole lot to keep up with. And even though I've explained it, they have
At
a hard
13
time
episodes
with-
apiece.
And
Yeah.
and Punisher was one of my favorite Marvel characters when I got into comic books when I was younger. But now that it's like all these other things, I'm like, I'm never gonna get to Punisher. So like, I don't, it's just okay.
It's like you don't have the time, but I think, and that's what Marvel does well with their TV stuff, is in their Netflix shows. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is good, but I know none of y'all are watching it.
No,
Wow.
But
I don't watch TV.
none of us really do.
No.
But the Netflix shows do really well. Of course, Daredevil season 1 was good. Season 2 was half good. The second half kind of throws it off a little bit, but it's still a good show, solid show. Jessica Jones threw everyone by surprise because that was the one that I was not interested at all when I got the slate of shows. I was like, for me, this was the list when the list came out: Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. And when we eventually got around to Jessica Jones, I was like, I actually really do like this character. I really like this villain, and not just because it's played by David Tennant.
Yeah, that was like, I didn't know who she was before I watched the show, and I really like, it made me like that character, and the villain was pretty cool. I would be him if I had to choose a superpower.
What was it? Wait, I never actually watched Jessica Jones.
Oh my god!
I told you I don't watch anything.
Oh my goodness.
You got to catch up on your Netflix shows.
Who was the villain?
The
Isn't it?
purple man.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Kilgrave.
Yeah.
Kilgrave.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, you know, there are going to be people who get tired of watching everything, you know. But like, as comic book fans, you know, we've loved comics for years. We're going to continue to love comics for years, and if we can get that in movie form, you know, we'll watch superhero movies until the day we die. You know?
And even though, you know, we're getting so many this year alone, it's like, I'm not tired of it.
Yeah.
But then again, as a fan, I can say that for somebody who's kind of a casual fan, that's a better way to put it. Like Janine. Janine's a casual fan.
Casual.
As a casual fan, you're like, God, there's so much I need to catch up on, so much I feel like I need to know before I get into this. You don't want to take the time to get to know it because you just don't have time for it. And that can be disheartening for a lot of people and put a lot of people unless you hear from word of mouth that it was just that damn good. That's why I feel like Deadpool worked the way it did, because nobody was really looking for a Deadpool movie. And then when you find out Ryan Reynolds wanted to play the character again after Wolverine Origins was trash, and it's like, you know, he's perfect for that character, but you don't know what they're gonna do with it. And for casual folks, it's like, it's just that white guy. He's funny sometimes.
It's funny sometimes.
Yeah, Deadpool definitely really surprised me, because I knew Ryan Reynolds was funny, because I mean, in the movies he's in, he always has those little quips that he does. But yeah, that one really did surprise me. What Marvel
because
was able to do.
it works so well for the character. He is just like Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. Chris Evans is Captain America. You don't see anybody else playing these roles because they play them so well.
Yeah.
I think you know, DC's problem was that they thought that this was a temporary or a short-term thing. But I think right now superhero movies are the westerns of the past. You know, westerns were around for, you know, decades. You know, and people watch. There are people who still watch westerns religiously.
Yeah.
You know.
They're all old.
Yeah, they're all old, but we're going to be those old people one day, watching all these superhero stuff, and like kids are going to be like, "Ew, why are you watching that? It's all about space travel now, you know."
Of course, by that
It's all
point, all
about
the CGI is going to look terrible. just the worst.
Is he fighting a fake monster?
What's going on?
But yeah, like you know, right now the Godzilla and King Kong are building a universe right now.
Are they going to keep Godzilla fat? Or are they going to trim him down? That's what bothers me.
Stop shaming Godzilla.
We all know that Caitlin hates fat Godzilla.
I don't know why. He just bothers me so much.
I have to go back and look at it, because I don't remember.
Oh, trust me, when you watch it, you're like, man, he does look.
Yeah, he chunky.
I gotta look up.
That
I gotta very slowly turn around.
But anyways, what were you
But
saying?
yeah, like
So I don't hit any wires.
Godzilla 1 was a great movie. King Kong was also a great movie. You know, and they, you know, in King Kong they really set it up to, you know, hint that these two are in the same universe. They happen at different times and they're, you know, secluded. But
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a little chunky.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, like eventually there will be a Godzilla versus King Kong. That's
Which I still think the size difference is ridiculous between those two.
no. In King Kong, they say he's still a baby.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
And he was huge.
because there's spoilers. Yeah, spoilers. Is that okay for King Kong?
It's
No.
How old is that movie?
It's been more than a year at least, right?
Yeah, about a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and
I gotta
spoil
get
it.
off this.
So
I feel like when we have more viewers, we can.
they there's a point where they go into a graveyard of King Kongs, and like some of the bones
skeletons
are just massive, you know.
Yeah, that's true. He's probably like maybe half the size.
I don't think it really gives King Kong a good scale, because there's nothing that we would recognize.
Helicopters.
Yeah, helicopter.
Yeah, the helicopters were.
Yeah, but you know what? Godzilla's also taller than helicopters, larger than them.
No, Godzilla just is massive compared to helicopters. King Kong, you like when you first come in, you get a good sense
You know
of
what?
the scale.
Before we get into this, the two of us are not allowed to talk about this. We will absolutely fight.
I forgot. This is
It's
Yeah.
Forbidden from
Yeah, that's a fight for after the show.
a physical fight. We're getting into a fist fight.
Okay.
And whichever one wins, that's the better monster
like
for the day.
If Phil and I ever somehow get in a fist fight, it's most likely going to be over Godzilla.
And it'll probably
Or-
be a draw.
Or burning refrigerators.
They'll knock each other out somehow, and then I gotta drag them both.
How long did that argument last? It was like
What?
3 years.
The burning
Yeah,
refrigerators?
the burning refrigerators.
We met in...
We met in like 2011.
11.
Yeah.
Because we went to the same summer school. Because I'm an idiot. I failed. And Wyatt transferred.
I was
So...
also an idiot who failed.
These are transferred from a California school. They're behind us.
These were passing.
What?
We don't believe that here.
Yeah. D's were technically a passing grade in California, so
Hell, I would have never failed.
so with me, like, cause I'm not dumb. I'm lazy, you know.
I'll do the minimum. Yeah.
I'm dumb, and I still would have passed if I went to California schools.
Because like what I would do, like when the teacher would give the syllabus, I would calculate how much homework.
That's what I did in college.
How much is enough to pass?
Yeah, because I would pass any test. Like I almost passed like every single test I ever took. You know, like sometimes I would cheat off people, and then I would like reverse engineer their answers and get a higher score than them.
Nice.
Right?
Nice. Nice.
Right. So I passed like every test. But
Like
I
the
was
idea of reverse engineering someone else's answer to something.
So now I feel more like a nerd because I actually did the work.
I did too.
Yeah, you were the person I would cheat off of.
And then you didn't get a better grade.
So I was a cool kid, and I cheated off of the smart kids like Devin and Kaylin.
Yeah. I would see people, they would go to the teacher's desk if they weren't looking, take my test out of the thing that I just turned in, and I'd be like watching them as they went back to their desk and like fill it. I was like, what the fuck?
So they're really bro look.
Yeah, just like,
But you know that never happened in California. Like everyone was just like super cool with each other. Like when I came here, like I had to actually be sneaky, and like people were stingy with their tests and stuff. Like I remember it was Algebra 2, and everybody cheated. Right? There were these where they were freshmen, right? Because I was in Algebra 2. I was a sophomore, and it was like a junior class. But there were some freshmen who were like so smart they got in. Everyone would cheat off the freshmen, so someone would cheat off of their test, right? And it would trickle down across the classroom, like in diagonal, and then like aimed at the desk. And this teacher had to know everybody was cheating off of each other. This teacher absolutely had to know, but
it's something like algebra. You have to show your work.
Yeah, we just copy it off of each other.
yeah. That's what the engineer kids did at lunch. They'd all just get around the table, and I just watch them as they all just were like, "What? How do you do? Okay, we're gonna do it." It's just like, what's happening?
Like throughout all my classes, like everybody.
I've never done it, so it's just like if I'm gonna know it, I'm gonna friggin' know it. I'm gonna know it better than anybody in the room.
I took zeros just because I was like, I didn't know it. I'm not. I'm sorry, Dad. I don't know what's happening.
I was that kid who punished himself for failing something. My parents didn't have to punish me because I did it myself. Here's my report card. Be in my room.
Here's my Xbox.
No,
Here, I'll get it back.
For me, it was like, "Where's your report card? What's a report card?"
Just playing dumb, huh?
No, like our parents really didn't like. They weren't strict.
No, mom and dad are
Man,
never
when
strict
the
on
school year started, my parents would take away everything from me. They're like, no, come here. We know what your game is.
School year started, and you're already on punishment.
But I was that kid who was done before I got home, so I could be sitting up playing games by the time my parents got home. Latchkey kid, and they were like, well, "Where's your homework?" Sure, you can look at it if you can understand it. That's what I got a lot of.
Yeah, ours didn't really look. Yeah.
My mom was always like, "Do you have homework today?" No.
Okay. All right.
Even if I didn't, and I'd say no, my parents would be like, "Get in there and do your homework." I don't have any.
No, see, you had to like make it seem like sometimes you had homework. Do you have homework today? Yeah, and then that'd be part of my calculation.
Oh, okay.
Homework I actually had to do.
It's funny.
Again, we drifted.
Yeah, we did. Drift.
Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've said. Well, I know Wyatt and I have said what we would do to fix that universe.
Oh, you want to know what I would do to fix it?
She's just gonna say like, get good.
Get good.
Yeah, get good.
Yeah.
Maybe burn everything with fire. Start over. Get good.
I don't
I
think they
think-
need to start over.
Have the flashpoint sooner.
Honestly, I think they need to stop protecting their superheroes so much. I feel like, I mean, of course, like that's just kind of how comics work. But like, kill one. Like, just raise the stakes a little bit. Be a little bit more like Game of Thrones. Like make us worry a little bit.
The thing is, they
He's
did.
gonna get raped and then he's gonna die.
Yeah,
They did
exactly.
kill one.
Which one?
Superman. They killed Superman, and they brought him back.
Oh, that doesn't
They
count.
killed Superman. Yeah, and they can't kill Superman. He's a god modder. He's just like, screw you guys. I'm gonna bend the rules. Like, so that's why I don't like Superman.
They need to kill off major characters and give them proper morning time, like, because they've been killing off a bunch of characters in the comics going on right now, and one that pissed me off. Right?
Oh.
No, it's not what you think.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Is it not?
It's
Well,
not that one from Civil War II.
No, they killed off Bruce Banner. He's coming back because everyone hates the comics right now, you know. So they're undoing everything, but they killed off War Machine.
Oh yeah, that was in Civil War II too.
Yeah, they killed off War Machine.
Oh, that's right.
And like, he hasn't really been mentioned anymore. They replaced him with the teenage black chick, and like everyone else is, you know,
Even then,
they're recovering.
Even then, she's legacy for Tony. She's not legacy for Rhodey.
Yeah. But they killed him off, and
No one's talked about Rhodey since.
someone was like, "Hey, Iron Man, your best friend's dead." That's it.
Yeah.
He got one panel.
There was more emotion in Civil War, the movie, for Rhodey than there was for him in the comics.
Yeah.
Which
And even then, I felt was a little bit lackluster.
really, because Tony was pretty pissed off, and Rhodey wasn't even dead.
Yeah.
He's just crippled.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it was.
Did you see how fast Tony flew? He said, "Fuck Cap. Let me go check up on Rhodey because Rhodey's falling to his death." Possibly.
It was Vision. Vision was what he did.
No,
Vision shot him down
Vision shot him down but
because he was
it was an
firing
accident.
at.
He was firing at Falcon. Falcon ducked,
Yeah.
hit Rhodey, and Rhodey went.
But both Tony and Falcon chased after him.
Because they're all friends at the end of the day. They didn't want to do this fight, but they knew the fight was necessary.
I mean, Black Panther wanted to fight.
Besides
Oh,
the
yeah, Black Panther's coming out.
yeah, we got about a month.
I'm nervous.
I'm not.
I'm getting to the point where
I'm not.
I'm nervous.
Sick hype.
I think it's because they're bumping up their promotional material big time right now. Like every week, there's something new behind the scenes.
It's not even the promotional; it's everybody else. Like, there's so much hype around Black Panther. Like, I'm like, crap, it's going to fail. They're going to make.
Oh man, now
And
you're-
everyone's going to hate the movie.
I hope
our
it's-
expectations are too high.
She's my celebrity crush.
Yeah, I was gonna say is that she's like my second, right under Zoe Saldana.
Who?
Michonne.
Michelle,
Oh.
I don't know her real name.
I don't know either.
She's the head of the Dora Milaje.
Okay.
She's gorgeous.
Like
You think because
people-
of all the hype,
people or theaters sold out of
first day,
tickets
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't come out to the end of February.
middle February, February 16th.
So
Yeah. So, more than a month ahead. People have already sold out of Black Panther tickets, and I'm like, no.
Which is going to make it hard trying to catch an opening weekend.
Yeah.
We'll probably go see it at the Alamo.
But even still, like, it's so much hype, and like everywhere I'm seeing, people are hyping up Black Panther, and I'm like,
I think it's because everybody wants this character, and there's a big tonal change from what we're used to with the Marvel films. That this isn't going to be jokey. This is about a guy who has to take up huge responsibility. He has to be the king of a kingdom, and of course he's a superhero now. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I think our people, I'm not gonna lie, I think our people are taking it a bit far because, like, we finally got one. We've had Falcon for years.
But he's not really.
He does have his own movie. Yeah.
Okay, Falcon doesn't have his own movie. Rhodey doesn't have his own movie. But don't pretend like the characters didn't exist prior to this point. He's an important character for sure, but dude.
our first black superhero. Where the hell were you during Spawn?
You guys remember Blade?
He didn't pay his taxes, so.
Yeah, Blade didn't pay his taxes.
So he's not allowed to be a superhero anymore.
Everybody's making a big deal about that right now. It's like Black Panther is for black folks what Wonder Woman was for women last year. And they're making a super huge deal about it. It's like, I think this week, Black Lightning starts on CW. And that's kind of becoming a big deal.
This week?
Yeah, that's this week.
How do you feel about that, Wyatt? I've been meaning to ask.
It's like it's Black Lightning. No one's cared until now.
I was when I was in the theater. I was with Brandis, and he was like, "I'd much rather have a Static Shock than a Black Lightning."
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because what Black Lightning really is bootleg Static Shock, because Static Shock belongs to Dakotaverse. Is that the name of the company?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, that's not the name of the company, but yeah, it's the Dakotaverse.
Yeah. Anyways, he's part of the Dakotaverse, which is owned by.
Same thing as with Icon, but then they're all DC at this point.
Basically, every black DC superhero, other than Cyborg and Black Lightning, belongs to another.
And Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Oh, and the new Flash.
Oh yeah.
The new Wally Wally West.
Yeah,
there's
there's
Oh,
two.
Kid Flash.
Yeah.
Okay.
But every other black superhero pretty much belongs to the company.
Mhm.
So, because Static Shock was so popular,
In the late 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s, yeah.
Black Lightning pops up, and he just happens to have the same color scheme.
No, but the thing
and
is,
similar powers.
the thing is, Black Lightning's been around since like the 70s.
Has he?
Yes, he's a much older character.
Oh, so Static is the bootleg?
Yeah, no.
I was here first. You're still bootleg.
It's
You're
just
still the
because-
bootleg me.
because a huge quantity of the fandom is around our age group. So that's why we want to see Static before we would see Black Lightning.
Alright.
Older folks will be fine. Oh, they got a Black Lightning? Look at that. But our folks are like, who the hell's Black Lightning?
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, when Wyatt was first telling me about Black Lightning, I was like, "Who's Black Lightning?"
Yeah.
I know who
'Cause I
Static.
thought it was
I-
Black Vulcan, then Static, then Black Lightning, but it's Black Vulcan,
Black Lightning.
Static.
Yeah.
That's racist.
Static was in, I think Static was either late 80s or 90s character.
But why do they have to have the word black and like even Black Panthers?
Yeah.
like
They have to
So
make
you know
sure
the
you
black-
really know that it's a black character.
I think it's because wait, not all Panthers are black.
No, it's a
I mean,
weird
some are
thing.
pink, I guess.
They have-
This one is.
It just all stems from that time period, because that character, Black Panther, literally came out before the Black Panther Party was started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
The Black Panther Party was based off of
Black
Black Panther, the
Panther.
comic.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I didn't know
hilarious.
that.
I love it. I've always wondered why they called themselves that. That's
yeah.
funny.
So
Because all the political parties are animals, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, what about a panther?
Black Panther.
Yeah.
We're
Only black
superheroes.
superheroes. So
Yeah. That's all we got.
but I don't think it's going to be a bad thing, because I like Chadwick Boseman as the character. He established himself in Civil War for me during that whole that whole fight with Bucky, after he loses his crap, and everybody's trying to come for him, and they're just getting nowhere.
Yeah.
Black Widow tried; she's getting nowhere. Then here comes T'Challa, just kicking ass, and then there's a moment where he gets away from him. Bucky heads up the stairs, and here comes T'Challa out of friggin' nowhere, lands and stands up like, where the fuck were you going? I wasn't done yet.
I'm not done fighting.
And I was like, okay, now you're cool. So I think the character will do well for the universe. I don't think he's going anywhere. If anything, he will be the one of the few to survive.
His own movie? Yeah. It's amazing.
We know he's
Yeah,
gonna
if they
survive.
kill like
Yeah.
the first superhero off, it'd be like, of course, it's the black guy. Seriously. Like,
Oh, I would be so bad.
Wyatt, I would be pissed too. Because I've been excited. I've been saying that they're gonna have to make a Black Panther movie since
Before you knew there was a black.
before everyone knew there was a Black Panther movie, and I was like, whenever we started getting into the whole the universe stuff, and I was like, I can't wait for them to make that Black Panther movie. And everyone was like, you're an idiot. They're not gonna do that. That's not gonna happen. And then Black Panther happened. I was like, yes.
He's straight up been more excited about Black Panther from the very beginning.
I've been more excited about this Black Panther movie than the black people in the room. Right?
Oh no, it's not like we're not down. We're down.
I'm more
Downer.
down.
Downer.
I'm downer for it than you.
It's been like Iron Man 2, and he's like, Black Panther.
Exactly.
Which is
Like,
true.
you're not getting a Black Panther movie. That's a black superhero.
get out of
You know,
here.
that's a sad thing. So that's the thought process we have. It's not going to happen. No, I was surprised when I saw Falcon. Because I knew we had Rhodey, but Rhodey's always been kind of off to the side, not really doing much.
Yeah.
At least Falcon's been doing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got one that's going to have his own movie, and now black folks can't help themselves. And it comes out during our month.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They did that on purpose.
Yeah, Marvel set that up on purpose.
Dang it, Marvel.
Get him really jazzed.
But I think the character will do well for the universe because he actually legitimately is a good character. I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. I forgot, we're also getting Ant-Man and the Wasp this year.
Is that the name of the movie? Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Michelle Pfeiffer's going to play Old Wasp. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh wait, we're getting.
She's coming back?
No, Hope.
Is
no.
new Ant-Man and Wasp and okay.
Yeah, it's new Ant-Man and Wasp, so we still have Janet, but Hope. But Janet Van Dyne, the mother, the one who disappeared in the Macroverse, she will pop up, because we'll still have all those characters there.
All right.
So that's going to be interesting.
I was half expecting
I'm such a nerd.
whenever Doctor Strange is going through all the different universes, different multiverses.
That would
I was half expecting us to see
run into,
or her just like fly across.
that would have been a cool Easter egg, but then it also would have killed the moment.
But they're good at killing the moment. So.
Yeah. You remember
that's true.
Caitlin said that the thing was wiping
Yeah.
Strange's face.
Yeah, like with the whole and then also of course it kind of set the tone for the movie, I guess. But then Ragnarok at the beginning, when he's like, oh, and calls his hammer. I can't say the name right, so I don't try. Mjolnir. I can't ever do it. But he was like, Meh. And it didn't happen.
Wait,
I was just now Thor looks like a doofus.
I'll tell you the line that established the way that movie was going to flow. It happened before that, where he's hanging on the chain, going around like this, and Surtur's trying to,
Impress.
See, that was great. Like that.
He's like, son of a bitch, you're still alive. I thought my dad killed you. And it's like, oh, this is how that movie's going to go.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's
the
a Taika
turning.
Waititi thing.
Yeah, the turning of him kind of talking. He's like, wait, hold on.
I'll be back.
But then it's like, okay, good. And then it's just like, oh no, he's just gonna keep this doofus Reed for the rest of the movie. So, yeah. What were we talking
It works for the character.
What's up?
about? I forgot what we were talking about. Did we get all that?
Talking about movies.
Well, we started with Black Lightning.
And then Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Something led me
And
to
then
talk
And then we got on the topic of how I was right and you were all wrong.
But as far as the Marvel Universe goes, things are going to serious up after Infinity War.
Okay.
During Infinity War.
During, but I'm not going to lie, because I keep up with all the comic book movie news.
Yeah, I'll
That's
probably
actually
see
what I
that
was
just
about to
because
ask.
Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be there.
Now that
Which
we're
I don't think any of them are going to die.
Chris Pratt.
Okay,
What?
so who do you want to die in Infinity War?
We'll start with Wyatt.
Oh man!
On the
Want
spot.
to die? To be honest, I don't want any of them to die, but
Who do you think the best
Okay.
death would
No,
be?
but-
Who do you think is going to die?
I
Not
feel
that
like
you want to
a
die.
death or 2 or 4 needs to be. It needs to be necessary for this film to have weight.
Yes, for sure.
if I were to say someone, Iron Man, as a
As the one
As
who
a-
started this universe.
as one who started the universe and kind of paid back for Civil War One, in the comics. But I feel he would have the most impact over everybody. He's kind of sort of the leader, right now. He's the one who provides everything for
Everyone.
everyone, and
Just pays for everything and makes everybody look cool.
yeah, and even with Spider-Man. So he had an established part in Spider-Man, where he's basically bringing in this brand new superhero for him to give the Iron Spider suit to Peter Parker and then die after that. I think would have the biggest impact because it would affect every Spider-Man movie afterwards.
Because now Peter feels like he has to step up.
Yeah, so because we never got him losing Uncle Ben, Iron Man would
He
be
needs a
that
catalyst.
Uncle Ben.
To be a better hero.
We know Uncle Ben's dead, but this would be
That catalyst for him to become a better hero.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go the exact opposite of Wyatt. where I'm gonna say Captain America, because or not because it would give us it would give it more closure between the conflict between Tony and Cap, and it would pay homage to Civil War One, the comics, and Tony's grief with his friend that he just murdered. So I'm gonna go.
Are we gonna get drunk, Tony Stark?
No, we'll never.
Well,
get drunk.
in the comics, in the Civil War comics, he was sober the entire time during the fights.
No, he started drinking after that, right?
Yeah.
After Captain America is when he started.
He's like, I fucked up.
He admits that to Cap as he's lying there with a shield on him.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I thought Cap was gonna die in Civil War.
No, I feel like they needed him too much for what's coming.
Infinity War.
If you want a true leader, then Cap is your leader. I mean, Tony's there, but he's no true leader. It's like folks are willing to rally behind Cap before they'll rally behind Tony.
Yeah.
Did you not go?
I'll wait.
Okay. I was also gonna say Captain America. My biggest reason was because when we first see Captain America, the reason why they chose him was because he jumped onto a grenade and was willing to sacrifice himself. So I feel like his death, as far as like it would be true to his character, as far as if he did it through sacrifice, and then also I think he would have the greatest weight on the rest of the characters because he is that kind of more pure, morally inept kind of character. But to just be a little bit different from Phil, then I would also say possibly Black Widow, because she is kind of also that kind of heart and soul of the Avengers, and also I think it'd be interesting to see how Hulk or Bruce Banner reacts to that.
Yeah.
So that probably
Time to go to sleep.
yeah, and also too, and I
Sounds
think
getting real low, my friend.
and I think if her death was also through sacrifice, I think that would kind of give her a little bit more redemption of her past life. So
She's looking to get that rat out of her ledger.
Yep.
I like
Janine?
that answer.
Here's the crappy
So-
part. I'm going to spoil that.
My answer was gonna be Captain America, but it's more because he's my least favorite than
See,
anything.
you want him to die.
I want him to die.
Right.
No.
He needs to be extinguished.
No, he's just like the least interesting to me. He's just like, good old boy,
Just
doesn't
pure
really-
white bread.
Yeah, he doesn't really speak to me. But I think for me, the one that would have the most impact would be Iron Man dying, because he does kind of hold everyone together. But if they do kill someone off, it'll probably be someone like Nick Fury.
Again?
Again. For reals this time.
yeah.
Okay, so taking the fact that I know what's coming down the pipeline aside, and I don't want to spoil that for y'all, because there's a lot coming as far as Phase 4 type movies, I'd kill off quite a few people. I'd take out Cap because he's that spiritual leader of the team. If you want to kill a team, you kill that leader. You completely kill the spirit that way, and no one is going to want to fight, which will lead into some interesting conflict for Part 4. I'd also take out Tony because, like we've all said, he's the one that establishes this universe, and taking out Tony sets up what could become, something good for Rhodey if they would decide to do anything with it, or they could do Riri Williams, who is the legacy character for Ironheart.
Even though no one likes her.
Yeah, well, I would like to take out the big three. Take out Thor too, because even though he's suffered enough, he just lost his home. But
And an eye.
and an eye. But you take out the big three, you take out the muscle. If you take them out at a decent point in the film, that means they have to scurry about and figure out what the hell do we do to beat this guy.
Yeah, that's true. All hope is lost, and we're kind of the underdogs again.
Yeah.
I think that.
Because they need something to fight for. For the stakes to be big, you take out those big heavy hitters, and that gives the ones who aren't as strong something to fight harder for.
Yeah, the only thing is I don't think they can kill off Thor, at least not yet. I think they're still especially after Ragnarok, I think it kind of set him back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot more to his story, and also just the logistics of killing a god is going to be a little bit more difficult too.
I want to see the Thanos. If I can't hit you with the hammer, I'm gonna hit the hammer with you. And Milner's just on the ground and just. Oh wait, the hammer doesn't exist anymore.
I know what I would like to see is them, if they're going to say this is a big connected universe, like they do small snippets of things in the Netflix shows, let those characters be fighting the grunts on the streets. Because we know from what we know in the trailers that this battle's going to take 3 points. One's in space, for sure. One's in Wakanda, and one's in New York. All of our Netflix heroes are in New York. Let those grunts be in New York. Let those Netflix heroes be in New York and
The Defenders.
put them on. Let the Defenders be in New York and put them on the big screen. Why not? Let the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. pop up in New York or pop up in Wakanda. They could do that, and that'd be perfectly fine. Let this be one big connected universe like you say it is.
I
What
can't
the
wait.
fuck, Cole? What do you mean you're not dead?
Oh yeah, I could see there'd be a lot of questions. Wait, Coulson's alive,
You've been alive this whole time.
and the only person not surprised is Nick Fury. Because
Nick Fury's like,
Nick Fury popped up in an episode.
oh my god, he's alive.
He actually popped up in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like, you got Samuel Jackson to be on TV? Good for y'all. ABC.
I would love to see superheroes end up somewhere besides LA or New York. I think that'd be pretty great.
Wakanda?
There's a whole country that they could go to.
I hope we get what was it? Ohio is where the new Asgard is.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Oklahoma. Yeah,
Wait,
I
what?
hope we get Oklahoma Asgard.
That'd be pretty great.
Oh, in the comics.
I'm sorry, what?
In the comics, Ragnarok kind of happened, and all the Asgardians die out. They're reborn, but Asgard itself is kind of rebuilt in Oklahoma, kind of just like floating over Oklahoma. So you see this like big castle-like thing in the sky, just in the sky is Oklahoma, just there, and that's where Asgard
Does
is.
it cast like a huge shadow over the entire state?
Yeah, and everyone in Oklahoma becomes Norse, and they just like they
Yeah,
start.
They're reborn that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone is gonna be killed off, what I think they're gonna do, because I don't have a lot of faith in Hollywood. They haven't showed me they have the balls to kill off anybody in anything.
They did kill Quicksilver.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but no one cared about
No one
Quicksilver.
cared about him.
They didn't give him any characterization. They're just like, oh yeah, there's this guy who's like, I think he's
Wanda
twin
cared.
brothers with this witch lady, and then
Wanda cared.
Wanda-
No one cared about her.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know her name.
Vision cared about her.
No, Wanda had character growth, and you should see it from the start. Wanda had character growth from the beginning of that movie to the end. Pietro, not so much.
No, he was just kind of speeding around, just me. Oh, I'm your sister, I'm your brother. Blah, blah, blah.
You didn't see that coming?
But if they're going to kill off anyone, if they have the balls, Scarlet Witch. But I think it's either going to be Loki, Hulk, or War Machine. And I say Loki.
No one's gonna believe if Loki dies.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna be like,
It's
oh,
because
he's
so many red
alive.
herrings.
Yeah.
Well, even if they legit kill Loki, he gets reborn. That's part of his power set. Is every time he dies, he comes back in a different form. And like once he even came back as a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was during that whole Oklahoma thing.
Yeah. And Hulk, if you kill Bruce Banner, giving enough time, he will come back from the dead.
The Hulk will.
Yeah.
Not Banner?
No, with Banner.
With okay.
Yeah.
See, that's the
Hulk
thing.
Banner will come back.
And that's part of the thing that I hate about superheroes, and it's like, of course, I brought it up with Superman earlier, is that you can't beat them. Like that's the thing. There's no stakes. The characterization goes out the window because they don't really. Yeah, they kind of have to struggle, but when you're watching it, you're like, I know you're struggling right now, but you're gonna make it, man. Like you're gonna be fine. Like stop crying. Just
Even if you
just
die,
keep
you'll be
going.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't come to be like, oh man, are they gonna make it through this or not? You know, and I think that I mentioned Game of Thrones earlier. That's why I like things like that, because it's like, I don't know, are they gonna die this episode? We don't know. So that's
Assume that they're all gonna die at some point.
Yeah.
You just want higher stakes from her. You want somebody to be done with this.
I want to care about the story.
Exactly. Like when there is a conflict, to actually not know if that person is going to make it through that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thanos is a big enough bad to where we're gonna feel that feel of like, well, maybe some of the folks that we've really liked over the years won't make it to 4 or past.
Yeah, but but the other side of that is if they don't kill anyone like Major off, all my faith, and I will never see a Marvel movie again. Like it'll just, except for Guardians of the Galaxy, because Chris Pratt.
I don't mind if someone doesn't die in this movie.
Somebody has to die in this.
Yeah, but I don't mind if they don't, because we do have another Infinity War.
Is that, are they gonna have to die in part 1 or?
Yeah, somebody has to die in part 1 for part 2 to have any strength.
Because then it's just, there's no really like catalyst moving forward. They're like, well, we're gonna save the day. It's okay, you guys. And it's like I don't need to watch the second one. They save the day.
It's like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, he's got the stones, so he can do whatever the heck he wants to do with it. But if we don't lose anybody, what's the point? We know they win at the end of the day, but we have to seriously lose somebody. Like somebody at the end of their contract, like Chris Evans.
I was gonna ask about that. What is he at the end of his contract?
I was trying to keep that out of the thought for the sake of the films. But
isn't Tony out of his contract too?
Yeah.
I could definitely see both of them dying, even without that fact. Like, I think it's just kind of, I think they've already run their course. I feel like if they were to keep with those characters, it would just be stupid at this point. So
because they've had great character arcs. I mean,
exactly.
To go from, not douchey billionaire playboy to father type. Tony has grown over the course of these movies. Cap has grown from I believe in America to maybe not everything's as black and white as I thought it was. So these characters have had their arc.
They're done as far as characters go.
Yeah.
Like, really, because and this is what I hate about live action is that everybody ages, and it takes so long to make a movie. Because the comics have so many great stories you still want to see,
Yeah.
Like, what's the one where Tony Stark becomes the dictator? He has the...
Oh, that symbiote suit?
Yeah.
Oh, that was...
not Superior...
Yeah. Superior Iron Man? No, not Superior Iron Man.
Superior Iron Man is Doomsday.
Doom.
Yeah.
So now we're talking comics.
I just want to see a symbiotic T-Rex.
You had your chance.
I had my chance and they didn't give it.
And I think if they were to kill off...
We're getting a Venom movie.
We are.
Oh, awesome. That'd be good.
And that's Tom Hardy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'd watch a Spawn movie.
I have a one of them there.
No, not that Spawn movie.
Okay.
We are getting another Spawn film eventually. Todd McFarlane has said, we're getting a Spawn. So the black characters are bad.
And I'm excited about Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger is coming to Netflix.
Okay. When I look at Cloak and Dagger, I feel like it's just one big YA novel. And young adult stuff is just like, oh God, I'm too old for this shit. I say that, but then I watched Runaways. And I think because Runaways has a place in my heart from when it came out in 2003, these were kids who thought their parents were evil and then found out they really were. So that book had a place in my heart. So when the show came out, I'm like, this is actually a really good show. And I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, as someone who's studied young adult literature, I can say that it's for all ages.
I was going to say, you're never too old to read some YA.
Yeah.
To read some smut.
It's not.
Some Judy Blume.
So I still don't know how I feel about Cloak and Dagger, but I feel a little bit better because of Runaways. I'll put it that way. You got something to say or you just
Oh, I'm just
Where are we
stretching.
at? How long
We're at an hour and 40.
Oh,
we actually went longer this time.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually technically an hour and 38, but still.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well,
We still got 20 minutes.
there's some like pauses in there too that will
Yeah,
probably.
we can probably cut it down.
It's
Yeah.
literally only.
It's
A
also
lot of this-
1:44.
Yeah, we kind of just babbled about like school for a little while. We could totally cut that out.
No, that stays in.
Okay.
It stays in.
We need to know. Everyone needs to know that Wyatt's a cheater. So.
Yes.
Note to self, edit out cheating.
My parents don't need to know.
He's actually gonna change it to where it's the thing you did for the
I
last.
cheated on this dick. Because it's not a. It's not.
It's not an Are Y'all Recording podcast without this
Some
dick.
It's sad.
So we just need to start out every podcast. Dick.
That's the touchline. Dick. Is this dick loud enough?
It's good.
Good dick. Okay.
Good dick.
we should probably end.
Yeah.
But DC, get your shit together.
Yes.
I
And
want you.
Marvel looking at you.
Like, I love how we talked all this time about how excited we are for Marvel stuff.
And then criticize everything about.
I'm excited
like,
for
we
Aquaman. Let's just clarify that.
Let's just have a 3-hour-long Aquaman.
Let's
movie.
just have him on the screen, just halfway in the water with his shirt off. That's all I need. That's all I need.
There's a scene for you to pause in Justice League. You'll be happy.
No, this is a gift that I sent you guys, remember?
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Anywho.
That's going to be interesting in December.
Yep. Right in time for my birthday.
Sad. But yeah, at the end of the day, seriously, DC, get it together. We want to see good movies from you.
I think they just need to take their time and like actually stick to something. Like stop, because they've been like really reactionary.
Mhm.
Like they get bad criticism, so they change stuff. Like no, just be confident
That's
and go through with what you're gonna go through with.
Yeah, in DC, if you're looking for someone who can write good characterization, call me. I mean, so.
And another thing, do not do a theatrical cut and then do a director's cut for your Blu-ray. That's half an hour more of stuff that you should have kept,
Like in
That's just annoying.
like in BVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about it, but I would like to see longer movies.
Yeah,
I don't mind
If
Sitting
there's
3 and
substance,
4
then yeah.
hour
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, I don't mind it
Yeah.
either. I still haven't watched Blade Runner, but yeah.
I also still have
Don't
not
go
watched
see that one.
Blade Runner.
Really?
It just drag. We can talk about it after we're done here.
But okay, seriously, DC, get it together. Marvel, just try.
Marvel, kill somebody.
Yes, Marvel, kill somebody.
And leave them dead.
We want to thank everybody who decided to stay this long again.
Yeah.
Why are you still listening?
What's wrong with you?
Come on.
No, seriously.
No, we do think.
We
Yes.
we
Please,
want you to come
appreciate
back because we like doing this. And you know what? Let us know what you guys think. You know, of the whole Marvel DC thing. Let us know if you enjoy this show. Is a longer thing a good thing? Do we need to, stop talking about dick all the time? Let us know.
Never.
Leave comments below.
Yeah, below me. Below me.
Good one.
Again, I'm Dev.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Janine.
I'm Wyatt.
I'm Phil.
Oh, I guess we should plug too. Plug.
Oh.
Oh, Kickstarter. Don't forget there's a Kickstarter down below. I'm pointing down again.
Putting down below.
There's
below.
no point at pointing at my dick.
No, at that point, you guys, this is below me.
Yes, check out that Kickstarter because the sugar skulls are really cool, and what's coming up, if we make that goal, is even cooler. I promise you. If you want to see anything from me, I'm at DevTheDoc on YouTube.
And if you want to see anything from me, I'm author CSloanLewis.com. That's my blog, and also CSloanLewis on YouTube.
And if you want to see some sexy fat ladies, go visit my Instagram
Yeah.
page at Miley_art. That's all of my social handles. Just hashtag that or at that. Yeah.
And I have my stuff on my personal channel, Dinopolis.
Oh yeah, you finally changed.
I finally
that name.
changed it. That's it. I changed it. I did it.
Oh, and my stuff is down below. WyattOfTheAfro on pretty much every single social media.
Yeah.
Links will be down below along with the Kickstarter for the Sugar Skull Scoops.
And Kickstarter.
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 That's really cool, guys. Like it's
You gotta start-
designer toys. If you're into like
really neat.
collectibles and whatnot, like
I do
really heavy resin toys.
want to get one of those.
All right.
Then
Make sure you get one.
get on the Kickstarter. But anyway, we thank you guys again. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Where's my mouse?